Max Verstappen overcame the comeback challenge of a fast but frustrated Lando Norris to pull off an impressive Spanish Grand Prix win and stretch his World Championship lead. Left to regret a poor start which dropped him from pole to third place and significant opening changes which saw Mercedes' George Russell suddenly surge into the lead from fourth. Norris attempted to get back ahead through strategies. McLaren delayed the timing of both his pit stops compared with Red Bull's Verstappen, but despite relentlessly catching Verstappen in the closing stage of the race, Norris ultimately ran out of laps and finished 2.2 seconds behind at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya as the Red Bull driver hung on for his seventh win of an increasingly competitive season. Lewis Hamilton finally ended his way for his first podium in 2024 with a fine driver's zone to third. Although he dropped behind his fast starting teammate at the start, Hamilton overtook Russell with the second slots with an eye-catching around the outside move on the sister Mercedes into turn one. Russell, who struggled in his second set of tyres when he went on the hard compound, while others including Hamilton took to the softs in the end, just finished ahead of fifth place Leclerc, but fifth for Leclerc and sixth for Spain's Sainz, more than 20 seconds behind the top two, represents a disappointing result for Ferrari 2 weeks on from their pointless outing in Canada. Sainz experienced a particularly frustrating home race, although he overtook Leclerc at the start on lap 4, a move which angered the latter after the pair brushed wheels and triggered a post-race tit for tat. He, like Russell with Hamilton, was reeled back in by his soft shoe teammate in the final stint as he was struggling on the hard compound, with Leclerc far quicker on his soft. Sainz ceded his fifth position. Sainz himself has been angered by an overtake by Hamilton, claiming the Mercedes driver who is taking his seat for 2025 forced him off the track. While Mercedes and Ferrari finished close on the road, the same could not be said for the respective pairings at Red Bull and McLaren. Piastri was seventh in the second McLaren at the end of a disappointing weekend for the young Australian, with Sergio Perez own tough Barcelona event only ending up with 8th after starting 11th on the grid, adopting a free-stop strategy. But there was much needed cheer for Alpine, who unexpectedly strong showing around one of the F1's most demanding circuits, ended a double points finish with Pierre Gasly ninth and Esteban Ocon 10th. In the Drivers' Championship at the end of the first leg of the season, Verstappen stretched his lead to a season high 69 points, with Norris now up to second for the first time in his career ahead of Leclerc. It's often remarked that the F1 race can only be lost and not won at the start, and that's effectively how it transpired for Norris, who was left with regrets for the second race running, having produced a lap which he described as the best of his career to secure pole position in qualifying. The Englishman had a starting advantage which was wiped out within seconds of the lights going green. Focusing on Verstappen towards his inside, the McLaren squeezed the Red Bull towards the grass but allowed the fast starting and opportunistic Russell fourth to get in the slipstream of both and sweep round the outside to take the lead. Sweeping past the front row starters in the braking zone, Russell seized the lead while Norris also dropped behind Verstappen. 2 laps later, and in what itself proved a crucial moment for the race, Verstappen made quick work of seizing the lead for himself and overtook Russell for the first turn at the start of lap 3. While Verstappen went to build up an early gap, Norris was bottled up behind Russell for 12 laps and lost around 4 seconds to his Red Bull rival before the race leader made his stop on lap 18. There was early ground made to McLaren's pit wall, mind to try and run longer than Red Bull by 6 laps, and the first stops to try and ensure that he would have a tyre advantage for the final stint of the race. Norris rejoined in 6th place, and with fresher tyres and superior pace, he soon sets about passing cars who had pitted earlier around, with his battle with Russell being particularly entertaining, lasting several corners, and was 4 seconds behind Verstappen once more when he pitted for a second time on lap 45 with the Red Bull taking new softs. Norris was again himself 3 laps later, but slow stop at 3.6 didn't help his cause. He rejoined third 8 seconds behind Verstappen with 18 laps to go, but with a tyre advantage. The deficit was soon down to 5 seconds at the end of lap 54, but unfortunately for him it came clear that he just wasn't going to quite have the pace to really close in and get close to the Red Bull enough to win the race. But yeah, before I go, let me run you through the classification from the race. And it was Max Verstappen coming away with the win. Yeah, I think this is a great job. I think people will say it's a car. This was more about the driver. Norris, for me, had the fast car, but couldn't quite get the job done, despite performing well, because of the sheer brilliance of Verstappen. Norris will be frustrated with second, but still a pretty solid drive. Hamilton in third, I think, really had a bit of a measure over Russell in the race today. Far superior pace. Russell had that great start, but yeah, for the rest of it, maybe got a bit unlucky, but at the same time, I think, just maybe he wasn't quite on the level of his teammate. Leclerc and Sainz, I think, will be really disappointed with Ferrari's position. Not really with the top 3 teams here, which will be frustrating for them. Piastri in 7th, again, disappointed, kind of anonymous. Perez as well. And Verstappen and Norris really need him up there with 2 teams behind, scoring quickly. But Alpine, I think, on a track like this, a testing track, this will be a really clear sign of their improvement. And they'll be delighted with that double points finish. Hulkenberg, getting really unlucky at the moment, finished out the points just on so many occasions where he recently, and I think for Aston Martin, 12th and 14th, yeah, a really concerning weekend for Alonso and Stroll. For me, they'll be expecting more. Before it was time for Zhou in 13th, so a really good performance from Zhou, but we need to see it more consistently if he wants to retain his seat, beating Bottas in 16th, but I think Bottas got unlucky really. And then the RBs will nowhere this weekend, as will the Williams, which would be really concerning for them, because yeah, I think on a track like this, would be really hoping they could kind of show their form here. And then Magnussen, yeah, kind of a way off Hulkenberg again, which would be concerning for him, and I think it really is starting to spell the end of his career in F1 really for Magnussen, unless he picks up his form. So anyway guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share and subscribe. Follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily F1 news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.